When it comes to the holidays, do you find yourself asking, can't we all just get along? Well, I can't fix what your crazy Uncle Charlie is going to say about your dating preferences, but what I can do is offer some solutions if you're a person that has a more holistic lifestyle. Maybe you're avoiding some foods or food allergies or sensitivities, or maybe you are kind of heading in the alcohol free direction. Or if you're a host and you have people in your family that have these preferences and you just don't know how to address them, that's what we're going to cover today. Okay, we're going to dive into the difference between food allergies and food sensitivities. So, an allergy for someone is something that is probably going to make them break out. They're going to get EpiPen, they're going to go to the hospital, they're going to be on the toilet for a really long time. I have a family friend who, when he eats dairy, his throat swells up and he has to go to the freaking hospital. Okay, so this isn't just like oh, like, can't you just have a sprinkle of cheese? For people with allergies, these are serious food accommodations that need to be taken into consideration. People with food sensitivities, that's a little bit more of like what I have. I'm working on healing from leaky gut. And when people have food sensitivities, there are things that might just make them like itch or be uncomfortable or have to go to the bathroom a lot or cause brain fog or make them uncomfortable for several hours or several days. So, when you know someone in your family has food sensitivities, kind of creating a few dishes like we don't need cheese on every dish, or if someone has a dairy allergy, we don't need dairy into everything, or someone who is celiac, which is someone who is gluten free, that's super important to accommodate. Those people can end up with stomach ulcers, end up in the hospital. So, we don't need a breadcrumb on everything. So, working around those things for your family, I personally feel like it's a way to show that you care and you've thought about them. Not every single dish has to accommodate every single person, but when you're kind of gathering people for the event, you're sending out that text, you're saying, hey, we're going to get together at this time and this day. Maybe ask if they have any food allergies or food sensitivities. I want to dig a little bit deeper. Two of the most major food allergies and food sensitivities for most people revolve around dairy and gluten. So when you are buying, a lot of packaged products are sneaky. They have milk in them that will show up as whey or lactose frequently on the ingredients. Milk is kind of like a binder for commercial food products. So be careful when you're looking for things like mac and cheese or stuffing or things like that. There might be some secret ingredients in there. Also with like sauces and seasoning packets, that's a place to watch out for it. We're gonna talk about gluten free. There's a lot of people who choose to go gluten free. If you're celiac, which is a small percentage of the population, but if you're celiac, it means you have an actual allergy towards wheat. If you are just avoiding gluten, a lot of people avoid gluten because of inflammation. So, one of the things that comes up a lot when we talk about gluten, people will be like, oh, that's carbs, right? Like it's just carbs. No, gluten comes from wheat. So, if you're making like a stuffing or a casserole dish, maybe instead of pasta, you think about including rice or something like that. And there's lots of great gluten free alternatives. I will say, if you've never cooked with like a gluten free pasta noodle or something, maybe when you're having a big group of people over, that is not the time to do that. So maybe experimenting ahead of time, or just most people who are going to choose a little bit of a healthier lifestyle or have some allergies or sensitivities. One of my biggest tips I can give you is to keep the food simple. So let's have a beautiful roasted potato. I don't know anybody with a potato allergy. Let's have a beautiful roasted potato. Let's have some lovely steamed or sauteed broccoli. While the mashed potatoes are wonderful, we put dairy and then we put butter and we put cream and things like that. Could you consider doing something like a roasted potato this holiday season? So that's kind of the difference between like dietary preferences. Those just might be things people might be avoiding for health. And it could be worth asking, saying like, hey, I know you've been doing Whole30 for a while, or you're keto or whatever. I don't really subscribe to like diets. I just think if we stick to clean, healthy food, most of us will feel great. But Just say like, hey, is that a thing that's going to come up for the holiday? Rather than you guessing and trying to move your plans all around for everything. Just saying like, hey, is that a thing that you're going to worry about when we get together for Thanksgiving or Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate? Just opening the dialogue and creating that conversation will save you and those people a lot of stress. The other thing you can do is ask them to bring their own thing. Be like, hey, we're going to get the bird, we're going to get the turkey, we're going to get the ham. No, you're not big on, the stuffing and the sweet potato and whatever. Could you bring your own thing to share? And most people who are living a healthier lifestyle would love to show you that they've made something wonderful that's healthy. It's kind of a flex, right? So give them the opportunity for that. And then the last kind of like consumption thing that I want to talk about is alcohol. I think that anyone who wants to take a break from alcohol, we need to give them the space for that. And what I have discovered is most people, if they're trying to push you or want you to take a drink, it's because they don't want to be drinking alone. And that's okay, but that doesn't mean that you have to. So I would recommend, okay, if you're the host, asking again, like, what do you like? And most people who are alcohol free be like, hey, I'm gonna bring my own little cooler, no big deal. Or I would love for you to have some sparkling water there for me. Or could you pick up a packet and a beer? You're gonna be bringing these things into your home anyway. You're making a grocery list, going and shopping. So why not ask them what they want or what they need? And then if you're a person who doesn't want to have that conversation with your family, I would encourage you to bring your little go bag wherever you go throughout the holiday season. Come prepared. And what I have found is almost anytime I go somewhere, I'm making a mocktail. People know I don't drink now at this point, like 2 years into being alcohol free. They're like, what are you having? Can you make me one? So for me, it's a fun way to kind of bring people together, show them an alternative. And most hosts, I mean, some people don't want you to bring stuff to their house. That's fine. If that's the case, if you could just keep something in your hand, that's a great way for people to not really notice what you have going on, right? So, like, keep a cup of water in your hand, put a sparkling water, put a little lemon squeeze in your water. And what I have found is as long as like I have a drink in my hand, most people won't bother me. So I think it's important to kind of think about doing things a little bit differently so that everyone's comfortable. If you have a 50-person family like mine, I'm not suggesting that you try to accommodate every single person, but what you might find if you ask is there are kind of common things like, oh, we have 5 gluten-free people. Oh, we have 5 dairy-free people. And maybe you have an alternate dish for them. As far as food allergies go, you can really make some people sick. Like it's not just a like, can't they just kind of thing. And it's the same way with people who are like vegetarian or vegan. That's a lifestyle choice that they've made and it's offensive. If you're gonna add like if I know I have a friend that her family member tries to sneak like chicken stock into their soup or into the stuffing and it's like we don't need to be doing that. We should be respecting people's lifestyle choices. And as far as alcohol goes, like you do you, boo. I will say one of the best things you can do when you're preparing for kind of trying to refrain from alcohol a little bit heading into the holiday season is come prepared, keep a drink in your hand. So those are my tips for heading into the holiday season when you're looking for some alternatives for a healthier, more holistic lifestyle.